What's up everyone? Today I'll be doing a video basically showing you how to self-host open-webui. So open-webui is basically a place where you can get all your AI, kind of like ChatGPT interface into one basically workspace. You can add documents, do retrieval augmented generation using multiple models, tool calling, stuff like that. And it's really a great open source framework to get started with local AI. So let me show you what you will be expecting at the end. So at the end, we'll be having a screen like this where you can start a new chat, choose your model, and then do also just prompting it and having web search if you want. You can also use the code interpreter that we have right here. So as you can see right now, we have a basically a Docker container for open-webui running. So I'll show you how to get started. First off, before we start the video, just make sure that you have an Ollama server running at least locally so that we can do the inference for the models locally. If you have it on another server, you can do the same way I did in the previous video by basically linking a domain with your server, like I've shown with Cloudflare tunnels in the past video. So definitely go check this out before we start. So now the command we're going to run is this one. So I'm going to put it in the description, but basically we can take a look at what it does. So it's basically just sudo docker run. We're exposing port 3000 and internal is going to be 8080 because that's the default one. We're going to use the network adapter host so that our server basically publishes the port outside so that we can access it from the web. We created an open-webui backend data volume. We have the Ollama base URL, which is set up as 127.0.01. So this gives us the ability to access our inference server locally. So now that you've just run a command, just make sure to check that it's running. So sudo docker ps, and we can do grep open. So as you can see, we have open-webui that is running right now in Docker, and it's working. So we can actually go ahead and check our Docker containers. We see open-webui right here. We see that it's running, and we see the logs appearing. So if we navigate to either your local, so for myself, that would be on port 3000. But since I've already port forwarded it, without actually exposing it to my network, I've used basically the Cloudflare tunnels configuration. So what I did is I basically made a subdomain called AI, and then to my own domain, and then a service of type HTTP to my local server at port 8080, and this exposes my application to the web with authentication and everything. So don't worry about that. So first time you're gonna arrive on this page, you're gonna get asked to enter authentication credentials and create an account. So just do that, and after that you'll be pretty much ready to start doing stuff. So you should be able to see your models in Ollama that are downloaded already if the connection is done properly. If it's not done properly, just make sure to check the logs of your actual container. You should see errors coming on here if you have a problem with that. Otherwise, you can really start a chat and just say, you know, let's go with a smaller model so it's faster, but write me a 100 words story. And then it should start working right away, right? You should, as you can see, get some interesting stuff. And you can also see, one thing that's cool is you can see the stats of that actual request. So you can see the total tokens it printed out, the speed per token, duration, load duration, evals, everything you need. Another thing that I really love is you can add context to your application. So if you go to settings, and then you can go to admin settings, you can go then to documents. You can basically add documents to your actual context for retrieval. So you can change stuff like chunk size, chunk overlap, definitely, if you know stuff about that, change it. It's really helping. You can change the RAG template, so how it should basically use it to respond based on the resources it found. You can dump the database, you can set pipelines, web search. So for myself, I highly recommend using web search because sometimes the AI doesn't have anything in its training that can help. So it's going to need to go search on the web. So one thing I use is SERP API. They actually have a 100 requests per month free tier. So I highly recommend that. In terms of, like I said, tools, you can add other tools if you want. So that could be MCPs or just simple like tools. You can also see all your models right here. You can change basically the settings for each different model if you want. So you could attach specific knowledge to specific models. Connections. So you could add an API key for OpenAI if you don't want to use your Olama basically API. So sometimes, you know, you have different type of higher workload type of payload, and you might not have enough strength locally with your Olama server. So you might need to use an external API like Anthropic or OpenAI. And this is really great because you can actually create workspaces with different models being used. So that's really like a good way to split your workspaces. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.